Yeah, lights on, game time, let's break it all down. From the spreads to the lines, who's up, who's down. We're crunching the numbers, calling the plays, talking all sports in a big time way.
Welcome back to Spreadsheets Sports. It is the 11/22 for week 12 NFL. We got ourselves an interesting slate today. And we got a little bit of a handful of upsets. But before we jump into the slate, let's go through the housekeeping and welcome everybody that's new to the show. If this is your first time here with Spreadsheet Sports, it is greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I hope you enjoy your time reviewing the content. If you are a returning viewer for Spreadsheet Sports, thank you so much. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for likes, shares, the comments, talking to other people about it, all of the above. Now, let's dive into our slate. What we have for Sunday is going to be some games that we think are predictable, and then we got some other games that are not so much. Anything could happen. And I wanted to look at the ones that anything could happen in under the microscope just so I could see exactly, like, what are we looking at, right? And then try to make the best objective decision on something out of that event. Maybe even 3 things out of that event that would happen regardless of which way the game goes for the winner, right? So we're going to look at it from that perspective as well. Obviously, at the very end, I have your bonus bets, which is the 2 round robins I prepared for you that should be really, really, really good. But for the slate, as we look throughout the show, it's the same format where I have the list of the games and you can take your screenshot there. If you, in fact, do not want to hear me talk about the games, at least you have the screenshot of the game slate and you can make your own decisions. For those that are interested to hear my perspective about the games specifically and why I'm choosing which game I'm choosing, then definitely strap in. So at this point, I would say go ahead and make your drink, roll something up. We're about to get serious. We're about to look at these numbers, look at this data, see how we can possibly make some money, and go from there. But let's dive into this first one. Look at the slate. For those that are here for the first time, what I've done for you is that the data has actually already highlighted the games that the data thinks there's a good probability of winning. I'm going to share my picks at the very end of the show, and I'm going to tell you exactly who I think is going to win on the upsets, who I think is going to win outright and just have like a blowout game. All of the above, the spreads, I think, the team points, all of the above. But for now, this is what the data thinks without my independent opinion involved in any of the data that you see in front of you right now. Everything you're looking at is automated. And it's a great guide and a great place to start your research. But I never just go with what the data says. I always want to challenge the data and look at additional sub data for my research. Look at some shows, find out what exactly other people are thinking, some alternate scenarios are for the game that we'll all be looking at as well. But as we jump into the slate, we already had the first game, which was the Bills and the Texans. I actually went with the Texans on this game. I would say it was kind of gutsy. The thing that made me lean more towards the Texans was the defense. Their defense was to be respected. And on top of that, I had a hunch that Josh Allen was going to play hero ball again. And under pressure, I got to tell you, Josh Allen makes some fatal mistakes. In the last 3 games, he's been doing some interceptions, and they coming from him forcing the ball. But that's kind of a recap on that game. It could have went the Bills' way if there wasn't as many mistakes on Josh Allen's side. But yeah, that was that game, and the data chose the Bills. I went the other way, and I got rewarded for it. First game on the slate for the rest of Sunday, we have the Steelers with the Bears. Steelers and the Bears game is I would say it's a coin toss for a couple of reasons. One is that we don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play. If Aaron Rodgers plays, then that changes things because I think they're more competitive. Their second string quarterback, even with the weapons that he has, I don't think he's going to be able to survive the Bears. The Bears defense is decent. They're not amazing, but they're decent. And on top of that, they literally have Caleb Williams. I think he's going to use a lot of the different targets that he has access to. Um, but that game is just something that I think could possibly go towards the Bears. I know that the Bears are in fact favored in this game, but Caleb Williams rushing, I think, is going to be something that happens. I think he's going to get out the pocket and extend the plays. Um, Regardless of what quarterback is on the Steelers side, I definitely like Metcalf to get some action. I would probably go more so towards with um, total receiving yards for him than I would with receptions. Uh, Points on this game, the data is projecting 21-17, give or take. So I would co-sign on the Bears for 21. Pending on the quarterback for the Steelers would dictate whether or not I think they can get 17 points, but I probably would lean more to the 14. 14 points for the Steelers. I'm going with the Bears to win this game. Um, is this a good matchup that could definitely go in the Bears' favor? But that's where I'm going with that game. Next game up, the Jets and the Ravens. I'm not going to really spend too much time on this game, but I will keep it very thorough, and that is this. This is a conference game. The Ravens are on a tear. They have some injuries, and one of the injuries is Lamar Jackson. I have read some reports that he is going to have to get a surgery, which is going to change things drastically, not just for this game, but for the rest of their season. They had some must-win games in order to line themselves up for the playoff run. And I was confident they could accomplish that with Lamar in the seat. Without him, it changes things. It doesn't completely eradicate it, but it makes it that much tougher. Okay. Um, that's also going to depend on how the Steelers perform. If the Steelers lose to the Bears and the Ravens can pull out this win with the Jets, it gives them life. And they're gonna have to do some hellified coaching on the Ravens side for the next games forward. But as for this game, I definitely like the Ravens to beat the Jets. Jets have a lot going on. They're making some improvements, but it's late. We're late in the season now. So they're just a team that you line up against and you just do what you do when you win the game. Next game up, Giants and the Lions. I think the Lions are going to definitely come back on a tear. They are, coming off of their previous game on a nice momentum. And I just see them trying to really like destroy the Giants. The Giants have a whole lot going on. This is kind of like the other game we just got through looking at as well, where we were talking about how the well, we were talking about how with the Giants, with the Jets versus the Ravens. So the Giants and the Lions game, I don't even think it's going to be exciting to watch. Even if Dart plays, then the Giants can put some points up. The Lions' defense is not all that amazing, so they will let the Giants score if Dart plays. But if he doesn't, and wild card Winston plays again, I don't know. The crazy thing is wild card Winston looked pretty good up until the very end where he had a meltdown. So if Winston plays, they can get some points, maybe one touchdown out of Winston and a couple field goals or something like that. Um, but I'm still going to lean towards the Lions in this game. Next game up is the Patriots and the Bengals, and I want to look at this one under the microscope. This game is going to be quite interesting. And let's look at the microscope view so that way we can kind of like look at it and compare apples to apples. Patriots and the Bengals. matchup is something set for competition. I think we're going to get a nice competitive game. Patriots are arguably like a number 15, number 16 team. The Bengals are number 22 team. Had high hopes for Burrow having a good season, but Flacco being there, he's kind of taking up some of the slack and trying to help them with getting where they need to get to. Um, when it comes to defense for both of these teams, you have the Patriots with a number 10 defense versus a number 32 defense in the Bengals. Bengals are going to allow scoring. They don't do well in the red zone either. They allow 67% of touchdowns in the red zone. So, with that being said, I like the Patriots being able to score. I like the Patriots being able to get down the field to score. Patriots are putting up 244 yards a game in passing, another 113 on the ground. And they're up against a bad defense that lets you score 67% of the time when they get down in the red zone. Yeah. You now have I now will co-sign for anything over 24 points in this game for the Patriots. Drake May is looking amazing. I like Hunter Henry as somebody for him to connect with. I definitely like Stephon Diggs, but I like him more so for receiving. I wouldn't take the 59, but I would probably look more towards 40, pay the juice because you're adding it with something else. Um, I definitely I like Drake May for 225 instead of 250. Pay the juice because you're adding it with something else, but these are things that are going to happen regardless of who wins. But I'm leaning towards the Patriots to win this game. Bengals side, Flacco. Flacco, I like. And I like Chase Brown for rushing and receiving. Um, that's what I got for this game. I mean, it could go the Bengals' way, but I mean that's a huge could. That's a huge could. Just take the Drake May element out of it and look at the defense. And even when you look at the defense, right? Flacco's up against a number 10 defense. Could he pick it apart? Maybe because they're not blitzing a lot. They blitzing 8.2 um, times a game. And they're putting their hands on the quarterback 27% of the time. So with that being said, I still makes me lean towards the Patriots to win this game. I think the Bengals are between 14 to 17 points. And I don't see the Bengals being able to hold the Patriots under 17 just so they can win with 17. I also see some field goals in this game. I definitely like 1 to 2 field goals out of the Bengals. Flacco might find a way to score, but I think they're going to still struggle. And probably not even red zone. They're probably getting on the 30-yard line, can't get the first down, and they come in and kick the field goal. Yeah. And I still will take a field goal out of the Patriots. It's a conference game. It could get a little scrappy. So I would go with over 2.5 field goals in this game and the player props. And that's what I like for this game, along with the Patriots winning. For the Seahawks and Titans game, I definitely like the Titans to actually get some production. Cam Ward is going to have a productive day. Seahawks defense is decent, but not amazing. Both of them lose the battle at the line, but I still like the Seahawks in this game. Their momentum is building. I'm going to call the last game a mulligan, and they're definitely going to figure out a way to win in this game. Um, and they win well on the road as well. They win better on the road than the Titans have won at home. So, with all of that being said, I definitely go with the Seahawks to win the game. They're not paying anything on the money line, but definitely if you dive in, taking on the point side, I would definitely take over 23.5 points for the Seahawks. Um, and I would take Darnold for over 225 yards passing. Vikings and the Packers. Um, Vikings dealing with issues with injuries, and they are dealing with their second string quarterback, right? So, with that being said, it's hard for me to go with the Vikings with them choosing it, going with their second string quarterback. I like the Packers in this game. Jordan Love has his inconsistencies. He takes too many sacks sometimes. But even with that being said, I still like the Packers. I definitely can see Michael Parsons being a threat and his presence being felt for the Vikings. And even if that makes him hurry up and try to dump off, he has some weapons. And if he can ever connect with Justin Jefferson in this game, it's going to make it quite interesting. But I would go with 14 to 17 points for the Vikings in this game. I would take Jordan Love for 225 yards passing. Um, I also like over 2.5 field goals in this game. Colts and the Chiefs. Colts and the Chiefs, I'm gonna pull up under the microscope because I need to really look at the data with you, and that way I can tell you exactly what I'm looking at because this is a pick 'em for me. It's hard to tell you exactly who's gonna win this game, but let's look at it under the microscope. All right, breaking this game down, box by box, right? Let's check off the boxes. You got the Colts that are number 3 team up against the Chiefs that are number 15. Right now, the Colts are coming in this game with 8 wins, and the Chiefs that have 5. The Chiefs desperately need this win. The only thing that they're lucky that's in their favor is that they're in Arrowhead, and the weather is not a problem. If the weather was a problem or they were on the road, I would outright wouldn't even look at this game twice and just tell you that they were going to lose. They are dancing on a razor blade over a lake of alcohol. I'm not quite sure what the Chiefs can pull out in this game, to be quite honest with you. The Chiefs have struggled with scoring, okay? Beginning of the season, they could barely get 21 points. They waited on Rashee Rice to get off suspension to week 6. They managed to stay alive barely, and then the Ravens game was their real breakout game. But since then, they just been back to figuring out a way to win. But at least they were scoring 21 points. They haven't been as good as they were against the Ravens for anybody else this season. And they have all the weapons. Pachenko's not playing this game, okay, but you still got Patrick Mahomes. You still got Kareem Hunt. They can run between the guards and get a first down. And Edwards-Helaire, right? And you got the other young man, the rookie, Sharp. And on top of that, you still got the mid-level, which is going to be Noah Gray, which is the alternative to Travis Kelce. And then there's Juju. Juju on the beat can get you 20 yards, 30 yards, just in the middle somewhere where the linebacker moved out of the way and he just caught the ball for 20, 30 yards. He has those weapons. And if that ain't enough, he can burn you with Rashee Rice or with Xavier Worthy. And he still had Tyquan Thornton rolled up in that as well. And then there's Hollywood Brown. I think one of the problems that the Chiefs have is they have too many weapons. To be quite honest with you, on a lot of NFL teams, the dynamics is that they have one or two real star players, and then most of the time it's a tight end and a number 1 wide receiver, right? Um, but in this case, they got way too many. It You would think it confuses the defense, but they can get away kind of with zone and just playing it straight up and letting it come into that area. Now, man is where you would probably crucify yourself if you were dealing with that. With that being said, I'm trying to answer the question of can the Chiefs score and how many points could they score? Yes, the Chiefs can score in this game. They are up against a number 15 defense. How much can they score? Maybe 21 points. I would go with 20.5 on the points. And on top of the 20.5, I'm going to go with over 2.5 field goals on this game. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes for 20 yards rushing. I'm going to go with Josh Downs for 40 yards receiving instead of the 30. I could take the 30 to be safe, but I think Downs is going to have a pretty good game. And I will definitely take Jonathan Taylor for the 111 yards rushing and receiving. I think those are the things that we're going to see in this game, regardless of who wins. Daniel Jones is playing very, 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 very good. And he has defied all of the naysayers that has something bad to say about him with how he's been performing and how he's going to fall back, right? He's going to backslide. No, no, no. He did have one bad game this season, but other than that, it's been Johnny on the spot. So I like him for a good performance production wise. I like the team. I like Jonathan Taylor. 15 number 15 defense is not a bad defense. It's a good defense. So the Chiefs are up against a good defense. The Chiefs defense is good. And on top of that, they bend but they don't break. So their red zone defense only allows 56% of teams to score. So with that being said, that's a great thing to know about them. They bend but they don't break, so they will force a lot of field goals. So that's another reason why I'm going with the over 2.5 and the player props that I got. Who's going to win? I don't know. I mean, I think the Chiefs win because they have to. It would be nice for the Colts to win, but the Chiefs win because they have to. Even the coaching, even if it comes down to a coaching match and it's like a chess game, chess masters, then I definitely like Andy Reid, Spag. Like I just can't see them not figuring out a way to win. They have to win. If they don't, Ice Age, 5-6, no chance of playoffs. That's what they're staring down the barrel of. So yeah, this gonna be a dogfight. I'm gonna watch this game. Coming back to the slate, Jags versus the Cardinals. Brissett is going to be still playing for the Cardinals. He has played pretty good, to be honest with you. They just couldn't like picture this. The Cardinals passed for over 400 yards last game and lost. They put up 400 yards against the Jags, they win. If they put up 300 against the Jags, they win. The team itself is doing pretty good. Marvin Harrison looked pretty good. Um, he's trying to get right over 100. He can't quite get there yet, but he's getting close. The Jags aren't going to lay down. Trevor Lawrence is going to do what Trevor Lawrence does, and they're going to do some production on their side. But ultimately, the data says the Jags win this game. I'm going to go against the data, and I'm going to go with the Cardinals. Um, Not because it's plus cheese, but just on the probability of it. I don't like the price that they have, the plus 145. I think it should be higher. But I'll take the plus 145, and I'll take Marvin Harrison for 50 yards receiving, and I'll take Trevor Lawrence for. Let's take Trevor Lawrence for 200 yards passing. Those three together get you a nice plus cheese parlay to add in with the round robin. But that's what I like for this game. Browns and the Raiders. Shador Sanders. I'm gonna watch this game too, even if I got to record it and watch it later. But I'm interested to see how Shador does. Shador had in the preseason. Shador had a game with 3 passing touchdowns, and the thing is, he did that in 3 quarters. The guy has the potential to be amazing. I think it was unfair how he got in the game, but at the same time, it wasn't that they chose to put him in. He got in because of an injury. So I can't really say it's all unfair, but the fact that they haven't been preparing him with the proper reps, with the proper squad, that's the part where I'm like, I think that I think they set him up for failure. But here we go. He's going to be the starter. He's going to have a full game to prove himself to the naysayers and also validate those that have been speaking very highly of him. I'm looking for him to have a great game. I hope he does great. I hope he does great enough to win this game. He can against Geno Pete Carroll, it's a bust. Vegas has got to revamp that whole entire team. Both teams lose the battle at the line. I think that's going to be in favor of Shador because that means that he's going to scramble a little bit this 10 plays along with passing. He's pretty good. I don't really know who he's going to target though. That part I don't know. I just know that he's going to figure out who's open, and it may not be the most consistent people that they've been using. He's going to find out who's open just to get the first down, put in positive yards, move the ball down the field, try to win the game. So, going to be a great game to watch, but I'm leaning towards the Browns in this game because the Browns defense is top notch and they can definitely keep the Browns in this game. All Shador has to figure out a way to do is at least score 2 touchdowns and at least get the team in a good position for 1 to 2 more field goals. I think they do that. They can outscore the Raiders with just doing 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. They can outscore the Raiders probably with 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. That's another bet I would take in this game. I would definitely take 17 points for the Browns. 17 points for the Browns is very, 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 very doable. Um, that's what I'm on for that game. Falcons and the Saints. Data says the Falcons. I'm not going with that. I'm going with the Saints, and I don't really have a lot to tell you about this game other than the fact that with Penix being out, I'm not willing to roll the dice on the supporting cast of the Falcons to come together to beat the Saints. And for that reason, I'm going to go with the Saints. It may not sound too logical, but that's where I'm going with. The data has the Falcons winning. You can go with the data's pick. My independent pick is going to be the Saints. Um, I don't even like points for this game. I'm not even betting anything on this game at all. It's just too much up in the air for me. Eagles and the Cowboys, along with the Bucks and the Rams game, I'm going to pull under the radar. I'm giving you a preview of the Panthers and the 49ers game. I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Panthers can win. I think the Panthers can win. I'm not telling you that they're going to yet. That's the Monday night game. I'm going to do a video for that. It'll pop up on Sunday night. You can watch it on Monday afternoon before the game to make your bets. But I think the Panthers can win. They have a really good defense. I know Purdy is back and Purdy's looking good and Kittle is looking good. I know. Bryce Young is not looking bad. Panthers can win this game. That's what I'm going with for the preview. I'll tell you what I end up betting on this game. But let's look under the microscope for the Eagles and the Bucks, and then we'll run through a recap of all my game picks, and then we'll get you out of here. Diving into this Eagles and this Cowboys game, it's hard for me to tell you who's going to win. Only because, I mean, at face value, you want to go with the Eagles, but I definitely want to look under the microscope for this game because the Cowboys are playing decent the last couple of games. I can't deny that. A whole body of work for the season? Hell no. For the Cowboys, but decent production last couple of games. I'm going to give them that credit. Eagles, consistent, doing what they do, winning games, controlling the clock. Um, it's hard to go against the Eagles in this game too. Even though they're on the road, it doesn't matter because even on the road, they still win what 80% of the games. So like even being on the road doesn't even phase these guys. They got a better win record on the road than the Cowboys do at home. So that's also something to be recognized. It, the Eagles are number one team in the NFL according to the data, and I would have to agree with the data. Like I've tried to fight with it, and it would go between the Rams, the Colts, the Patriots for me. Like these are personal rankings that I have, not the data rankings. And I keep coming back to the Eagles are number one. They are hard to beat. Not flashy, but consistent and solid. And then it's like they got the nuclear code at the very end of it all because it's still gonna at worst they could unleash Saquon Barkley on you. That hasn't really been performing like that this season, but at worst they could unleash him on you, and that could be over for you before we even get started. This guy is amazing. Don't let production this season tell you any different. If they turned the jetpack on with this guy, he scores twice and he has 150 yards. So then there's that. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with some field goals in this game. I like over 2.5 field goals in this game, or either I'm gonna go with under 5. I want to lean to under 5, but I think the Cowboys can get me to 2. And the question is, will can the Cowboys make the Eagles at least do one field goal? I think they can, and that's because the Cowboys' red zone defense is pretty good. They only allow 63% score ratio. So with that being said, that's a really good ratio for the red zone. That means I can get one field goal out of the Eagles and 2 out of the Cowboys. And the other part of that is that the Eagles are going to allow the Cowboys to score as well. So the Cowboys may not have to get a lot of field goals, but I put one in the books for the Cowboys, one in the books for the Eagles, and another one maybe late in the third quarter trying to get an advantage and they need the points. I'm going to go with over 2.5 field goals in this game. Um, I like Goddard for 30 yards receiving in this game. I think that Hurts is going to connect with him. He has to, mainly because the Cowboys are going to blitz. They don't blitz a lot, but they do touch the quarterback 28% of the time when they do blitz. Um, they have a bad defense, but their weakness is in the air. So they're up against an Eagles team that doesn't pass a lot, but they'll get 180 or maybe a little bit over 200 yards in the air. So I wouldn't go. I would probably go on an under bet for Jalen Hurts under 190, under 200 on the passing yards. I would like on that bet. Um, I don't see him really getting excited and throwing a lot. That's really what I got with this game. Points on the game. I would probably go with 14 points for the Cowboys. I would go with 13.5 for the Cowboys. It's going to be, you're going to pay some serious juice on that, but add it with the field goal and then add it with Goddard to get 30 yards receiving. I got some touchdowns down there for you guys that want to screenshot this and keep it for yourself, but these are the things that the data is saying will happen in this game, regardless of who wins or loses. But who do I think wins the game? I'm going to end up going with the Eagles in this game. Everybody's looking for them to lose, and they say they do for a loss. I don't think this is the game that they're going to lose. Maybe another game in the rest of the season, but not this one. I'm going with the Eagles on the win. They're giving some decent money out on it. I'll take it. I'm still going to possibly take the 13 to 14 points for the Cowboys. Um, and that's what I like in this game. Listen, the Rams. The $1 million question is, can the Bucks win this game? Because everybody thinks the Rams are going to. The books, the fans, everybody thinks that the Bucks don't have a snowball chance in hell. I don't agree with that, only because I'm looking at the data. Um, I know the fans are obviously going to be pro Bucks, but just looking at the data of it all, I think it's going to be a closer game than everybody thinks. Baker Mayfield is playing decent again. Um, he was having some challenges about 2, 3 games ago where he was sitting and taking a lot of sacks. I have seen him over the last couple of games actually showing us some production in the backfield. So he's able to sit back there a little bit. Um, he is going to lose the battle at the offensive line on the Buck side, so he's going to have to be prepared to run to extend the play. They desperately need this win. They have 6 wins coming in this game, and they are up against the Rams that have 8. So with that being said, um, the Rams could, in fact, beat themselves. They could allow the Bucks to beat them, but Puka Nacua is playing pretty good. They're in a dome. Weather's not going to be a problem, which actually makes them want to run a little bit faster. Um, Both teams are tough in the red zone. So we might see a lot of field goals in this game as well because of the red zone toughness for both teams. We think it's going to be high scoring because they are both really great teams. But if we see the number 18 defense in the Bucks not able to hold the Rams have a better chance of holding the Bucks because they have a number 9 defense. But even with all that being said, I like the Bucks to put up some points. I'll take 17 points, 16.5 over 16.5 for this game. I'll take the over 2.5 field goals. I'll take I will take Baker Mayfield for 225 and pay the juice because it's on this ticket. And I like Kyron Williams for 70 yards rushing and receiving. That's what I'm going to have for this ticket, and that will probably be a decent calculation for odds. But interesting game. If I got to tell you who I think is going to win this game, will Matt Stafford or Baker Mayfield win the game? The coaching staffs are both kind of like almost even, but the edge is really on the Rams in regards to coaching. So the Bucks could get out coached or they could get outplayed. Both of those are could be. How did the how did they do on the road versus home? The Bucks win on the road very, very well. They win 67%. They win 67% of their games on the road versus the 26% of the games that the Rams win at home. That's not good. That's not good. But it's gonna be a definitely an electric game, thrilling in Manila. But I'm gonna lean. Bucks need this win. Rams need this win. They got better coaching. They on a tear. They're doing pretty good. I'm gonna go with the Rams on this game if I gotta choose. I don't want to. It's a tough game to pick. I'm happy with the other picks I gave you for the props. I don't need the money line, but if you want a money line, I'll probably go with the Rams. That's what I'm seeing as I look at this game. All right, so real quick on a recap, I'm gonna run down these. I'm not gonna tell you why, because I just told you why as I went through the slate and we talked about all the different advantages and disadvantages of the game. So this is a quick rundown in 1 to 2 minutes of who I think is going to win and what are the other possibilities that are in there. First game up, like I said, I went with the Texans. Bills couldn't pull it out. I think the Bears are going to beat the Steelers. Steelers have a chance to win this game, but I think ultimately Caleb Williams pulled this out. Ravens game, even with Lamar being out because of the surgery issue against the Jets, I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Lions to beat the Giants, even if Dart does play. Giants can score, take some points on that, but they're going with the Lions for the win. They're not paying a lot for it, but that's where I'm going with that game. Patriots over the Bengals. Drake May, even though Flacco is decent and decent enough, I still got to go with Drake May. The Patriots are looking amazing. They might end up in the Super Bowl, man. Seahawks, another team that might end up in a really good Super Bowl run. I definitely can see them being a problem. Seahawks are a problem in the playoffs. But I like them to beat the Titans on this game. Maybe the only thing you can get off of the Titans out of this is Cam Ward for rushing. Um, Vikings and the Packers. I'm going with the Packers on this game. Vikings can get you some points. It should be some field goals in this game as well. Going with the Chiefs to win at home. Desperate win for them. Andy Reid is going to be the real reason that they win this game if they do. Colts are going to put up a really good game. You can take points on the Colts only because they got them as the underdog and they got good pricing for that. Cardinals versus the Jags. I'm going with the Cardinals. Data says that it's going to be the Jags to win. I disagree. Going with the Cardinals, so that technically that's an upset alert right there. Um, Bears was another upset alert. Forgot about that one because the Bears are actually favored in that game. Saints versus the Falcons going with the Saints. The Falcons with Penix being out the rest of the season, they already know their season is done. Even though they got B. John's going to have a good game, but I don't think they win this game. I think the Saints going to pull it out in their home. They need to win desperately as well. Falcons do too, but I like the Saints to win this game just from a probability perspective. Browns and the Raiders, we're going to have a good game. Shador is going to make his starting debut, not just filling in. I think he's going to be very productive, and I think the Browns can pull this game out mainly because the defense for the Browns can keep them in the game and keep the Raiders from scoring. Not to mention the Raiders have just not been as productive or consistently productive as they need to be in order to be a contender in this game. Going with the Browns for the win. Um, Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm going to go with the Eagles in this game. And the Cowboys can win this game. I just don't think that they're going to. I think the Eagles are going to keep winning right now, and they're going to keep winning and punishing everybody and just making you stop them. Either you're going to stop them or you're not. And right now, nobody can, and they win. That's just the reality. That's just the facts when you look at the Eagles. It is what it is. Argue with yourself about it. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm just calling it how I see it, and the Eagles are that team. They're making it tough in the NFC on some beat me if you want it. Bucks and the Rams. I really like the Bucks to win this game, but I don't see how they pull it out. Rams, weather's not even an issue. I'm going with the Rams to win this game, but I think it's going to be tight all the way to the very end, and it's also going to be determined on whether or not Baker sits down and takes sacks. But hopefully he doesn't. Extends the plays, makes it happen. They don't win the battle at the offensive line, so he's going to have to hustle and make some things happen, but he can. But I'm still going to go with the Rams for the win in this game. And then, like I told you, the preview of the Panthers versus the 49ers right now, I'm leaning towards the Panthers. My video on that game that drops on Sunday night, will tell you what I end up going with. But this is the slate of game. Take a screenshot of this, but these are my picks, not just the data. All right, so here goes our round robin number one. Um, Put this one together along with the automation, pulling these picks from all of the different games and all of the different player props that I have chosen. So what we have here is at the very top, I'm going with the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Packers all on one ticket, and this is for a round robin. If you want to do a super parlay and bet the whole thing, knock yourself out. I'm not advising you on that. I'm just telling you round robin is the way I'm going. Okay. And here's what it's going to look like. And it is what it is. Okay. You see my receiving yards here. Nico, Trey, Jameis Williams. I already hit the Nico part. I actually took him for 80 on another ticket, but I already hit the Nico part. And I took Nico for 50 also. So that hit. Okay, yeah. So Nico already hit. And then they got Trey Tucker as well. Then for receptions, I got Saunders for Carolina, Jalen Coker for Carolina as well, and Mark Hollins for the Patriots. And rushing, I got Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Gibbs. Rushing plus receiving, Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Gibbs. You can swap out Gibbs for rushing and receiving, or you can do them for just rushing. You can't do both, but pick which one makes more sense for you. And then I also like Keon Coleman, Tyler Warren, and Jackson Smith and Nigba for a touchdown. And then I like Dak, the pass over 240. And I'm gonna take him for 225. I like Pat to score 2 passing touchdowns, and I like Daniel Jones for over 225 as well for passing. But this is a round robin. This is going to be a really, 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 really good round robin. Take advantage. Second round robin. Take a screenshot of this, put it in, add something to it, take some stuff away, knock yourself out. But this is what I love. I love round robins. I love, love, love round robins. They are not only an insurance bet, but they're also very profitable, especially when you do all combinations. And it's a really great ticket. research round robin or find the video I have about round robins, but round robin this one, not to a parlay. Eagles, Panthers, Bills, and the Bears. And then we're going with McMillan for the Panthers, and we're going with AJ Barner, big target for receiving, and we got Mac Hollins for receiving yards as well. And then we're going to go with Xavier Hutchinson, which was last night. I got that. Greg Dorche for the Cardinals and Keon Coleman for the Buffalo hit last night as well. I'm sorry, no, it didn't. That didn't hit. He's out. Derrick Henry and Javonte Williams. That's also going to be a nice one on the rushing side. Derrick Henry definitely going to have production. Going with Chase Brown and Rico Dowdle for rushing plus receiving. Dowdle's going to have an amazing game. Chase Brown, Keon Coleman, Rico Dowdle for touchdowns. And I like Patrick Mahomes for 250 yards, not the 274. And I like Brock Purdy for 225, not 250. And I like Baker Mayfield for 220. I would pay the juice for 200 for a Baker Mayfield just to keep it safe. It's a round robin / parlay, but it's going to definitely have some really good value. But this is the other round robin, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. So, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, that brings us to the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Be cautious this weekend with betting. Be very, very conservative. The conference week last week, the conference and division week last week had some really good production because these teams are trying to win. They're jockeying for position. Take all of that into consideration. Weather played a role last weekend. We had a lot of rain and possible rain and things of that nature. No rain on the forecast, and we got a lot of dome games coming up for this weekend. But again, it's conference, division games. These guys are playing tough. It's not cold yet. And we don't even have that many outside games. But be conservative. You don't have to take the bet that you see in front of you. You can take the next thing below it. And sometimes you don't even got to fall for that. Go into the app or go into the actual casino knowing what you want to bet, and do not falter. Do not change your mind. If they don't have the bet you like for the price you like, don't take the bet. It's that simple. Don't play their game. You play your game. Because that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the board say, the books say. I'm running my game. I'm running my plays. If it ain't there or if it's not worth it, I'm not doing it. I'm not trying to put a square peg through a round hole. But happy hunting this weekend. For those, again, like I said, if you're new to the channel, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. For those that are returning, have a special place in my heart. Let's crack them this weekend, and let's definitely have a really, really, really good weekend. And because we got a lot of games throughout the week next week, along with the next weekend as well. So we'll get there. But as it stands right now, we're going to deal with Sunday. Let's crack them. Hope you find value. And if you did, please like, comment, share, or subscribe. And also, I have these videos here you can check out.
Lights on, game time, let's break it all down. From the spreads to the lines, who's up, who's down. We're crunching the numbers, calling the plays, talking all sports in a big time way.